Morning, everybody. Jeff from Rust Bucket Valley Garage. I have a saga to tell you today, and it's going to end with something very exciting, so please stay tuned during the entire video. Working on the Jeep JK, on the last couple of things, we did a video that we only had 1, 2, 3 things left, and we were going to take and get those knocked down. Well, we had a lot of problems, and I want to take you through what we did. Okay, so I'm going to take and direct your attention to the instrument cluster here. And when I turn the key on, you will see this light right here, and it just went off. Okay, this one right here is inconsequential because that means I'm sitting in the seat.
For consumers to call and see if they qualify, simply dial 800.
There we go. Didn't want any problems with the seatbelt system, so we wanted that light off. That was the airbag deployment light. Okay, so what did it take to get that light turned off? And I'll tell you, this one absolutely made me pull my hair out. There is OBD2 connector underneath the dash, plugged up the scan tool, and was getting a code for the right seatbelt retractor. Okay, this is a seatbelt. Retractor's down in the bottom, down here. It says it was open. So we went ahead and let's go around to that side so we got a little bit more room. So the seat belt, this one right here was the only one that apparently was blown in the accident, and the seat belt retractor mechanism lives down inside this panel here. There's a couple of Christmas trees here and 2 in the back of this B column that you have to take out, and then this whole panel comes off, and then right down in here there's a connector that you have to take and disconnect if you want to take and do any work on that. We knew the thing was blown because when you tried to pull it, it would not. It was actually locked up and it was blown, so there wasn't any question about that. We sent that out to Safety Restore on the East Coast, and we got that rebuilt. So it came back, and we measured on the connector the charge that is in the seatbelt retractor. Measures about 2.4, 2.5 ohms, okay, which is perfect. Okay, and I want to mention this point that everything, and I mean everything, in the seatbelt system on the Jeeps is what's called a supervised system, okay, which means that no matter what the thing is doing, there is some resistance for the computer to look at all times. Okay, so since the resistance that we measured down here at the connector was 2.5 ohms, we figure in that there might be some problem with the wiring, and here's where the wiring comes out. This is part of the wiring. There's another cable that goes underneath the carpet here and goes over to the center console where this unit right here lives. This is the SRS ORM module. So seatbelt restraint system, occupant restraint monitor. Okay, we troubleshot the wiring loom from here all the way back to the computer that lives underneath here, and the resistance was fine. It was 2.5 ohms all the way. And since we were getting a code that says that the seatbelt was bad, we thought something was wrong with the module. Okay, so we got another module and we went ahead and installed that, and sure enough, the code did not go away. Okay, so what we did is we took this apart and looked at it. Okay, so it's got some integrated circuits on there, giant capacitor. The capacitor is in there for to discharge the either the airbags or the charges on the seat belts. Okay, that's what the other side looks like. All the stuff in here is real tiny. We looked at it under the microscope. Everything looked well. There are some little parts on here that look like fuses, and we went ahead and checked those out. They appeared to be intact. So we loaded the parts cannon just a little bit. We got one of these kind of on the cheap, and went ahead and put it in as a brand new OEM part. And so we figured that, okay, that is still good, since we got the 2.5 ohms at the connector, and then we replaced the module. Okay, so looking at the computer, when we had it hooked up, we had it sitting here right on the seat. Okay, and then what we did is we're thinking, what else could be that? So we left this connector connected, and we had the key on, and we were watching the computer, and the connector that is inside this door jamb, which is for the seatbelt retractor, which is in the B pillar, we disconnected that, and the thing generated 4 codes. Okay, which I thought was kind of interesting. Okay, now keep in mind that all of these systems are supervised. The computer is looking at a resistance in these different modules that are part of the seatbelt restraint system at all times. Okay, so what you're looking for is an open. Okay, so the fact that it generated so many codes when we took that plug off of the seatbelt retractor here kind of told us that there were other things in the loop on that same circuit that the computer was looking at. Okay, so what we did is we disconnected this connector, we took the seat out, and we took it into the workshop. Okay, so inside this seat right here, there's quite a bit going on. Okay, so keep in mind that the charge that is on the seatbelt retractor that is inside the B pillar is 2.5 ohms. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. When it's deployed, it is infinity, because it is open. Okay, so that would definitely be a bad part there. Okay, and we'd have to do something about that. Okay, now in this seat, how does the seatbelt or the computer know that someone is sitting in the seat? Well, there is a circuit that runs like this, and then there's another circuit that runs the same way. It's almost like a sandwich. When no one is sitting in the seat, okay, there is a resistance that is presented to the computer. It's 616 ohms. Okay, it's a carbon composition resistor. Okay, the color bands on the resistor are 630. Okay, when you decode those bands, okay, it's 630 ohms. So 616 ohms is well within the tolerance of that part. Okay, so 616 ohms when no one is sitting in the seat. If you sit in the seat, it closes that circuit, and it is 12.5 ohms. Okay, so we've already eliminated 2 things that are in the circuit. The seatbelt retractor here is good. The wiring all the way up to here is good. The computer's good. Okay, the seatbelt occupancy sensor is good. Okay, the only thing that's left is this assembly right here. Okay, this is a seatbelt pretensioner. Okay, this is actually what it looks like. Okay, it actually, in configuration, it sits like this. Okay, And I've taken this apart for demonstration purposes, and I'll tell you here in a second. Okay, and then this connector here. So we probe this connector, and there's a charge right here. Okay, there's a gigantic spring that is inside this, and there's a cable here that goes up and ties into this buckle, which is actually right here. This is a new one that's been installed. Okay, and the charge, if you take and look at that, there's a shorting bar inside here. You have to take a tie wrap and stick it in here, find out which two wires, and it'll be the orange and yellow. Okay, you look on here, orange and yellow. You just probe these two pins here, take a tie wrap, stick it in there, take the shorting bar off of it. Okay, and that's 2.4 ohms. Okay, so the charge on here is good. Okay, now the second part of the circuit is the mechanism here that takes and makes the computer realize that yes, it's in the good circuit. Okay, because I'm supervising it because it's got some resistance that's in here, and then when you stick the tang from the seatbelt in here, it goes to another resistance. Okay, so we took the shorting bar off here, and we measured this, and the seatbelt buckle was open in both configurations. Okay, let's go back to the workshop and I'll show you something. Okay, so here we are back in the workshop. What we did is this whole switch mechanism here, which is the buckle, is encased in plastic. Okay, and it has a couple of security screws that there's some kind of T, and they also have a dot in them. Okay, so you can't just use a regular T-bit on them. The security bits are available on Amazon. Not a sponsor, but they got a lot of neat stuff. So if you ask for a T-bit security screw bit set, then you can get into most anything on the automotive things. They will have a lot of things that that you need to get into. Okay, this right here is the little switch that caused everything. This is a Hall effect sensor. Okay, it's a little magnetic reed switch. Okay, it's all encapsulated in plastic. There's no way to take and troubleshoot it. When I measured it, it is open, and that means that when we actually, this was deployed, this whole thing was deployed, which means that this cable is inside the sheath. And let me take that sheath off so you see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the sheath has been taken off. So basically, this cable is securely attached to the seatbelt buckle itself. And this one right here is a little bit heavier duty than the driver's side. So this is for the passenger side. Okay, it's got a real beefy cable on here. You could probably pull 5,000 pounds on here, and it would be absolutely no problem at all. But you notice this ferrule is compressed, which shows that the thing's been deployed. Okay, when I took and sent this to Safety Restore to take and be reconditioned, they went ahead, and there's a big spring that is inside the cylinder here. Okay, and when this charge blows, it sucks this in. Okay, so this is a lap belt. So basically, if you have a full bladder and you get in an accident and this thing's go off, then you have two problems. So you're going to have your wrecked car, and then you're going to have some laundry to do, because this is going to do some things anatomically to you. Trying to get this G-rated, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so when Safety Restore rebuilt this, okay, they didn't do anything with the buckle, and they didn't take and check that out and see if that was still operable, and it turns out it was not. Okay, so this little part right here is not available You have to buy the whole assembly, so we had to take and buy another assembly. That is a story that I'll go into here just very briefly. We found one of these assemblies. Things aren't cheap, a couple $100. We found a good price online, and we found one in Wisconsin. It was shipped via USPS and with a tracking number. And we went ahead and purchased that. And in the company that we got the part from, their source had a barcode label on the bottom, which they did not remove. So since it was another place in Wisconsin that they received the part from, the part went from Wisconsin through Oakville, and then from Oakville to the Los Angeles Distribution Center. Then they read the barcode on the bottom of the package, which is erroneous. It should have been removed by their shipping department and was not. It got sent back to Wisconsin. So we had to take and go locally, order another one, and sure enough, the next day, USPS delivered a part. And it had been sitting in the USPS status for 6 days, where it had not been scanned. It didn't look like it was moving. It appeared to be lost. So yeah, it was really, really bad. This is the first time we've had. Hi, baby. Say hi. Or no, or walk away. That's good. It's the first time we've had such a bad experience with a vendor. So we probably won't be using that vendor again. But I wanted to show you something on this one. What happens when this thing deploys? So what we're going to do is we're going to hook up a jump pack to this charge on here, and we're going to blow this. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this set up, and I'll be right back with you. All right, so we have wire set up down here on the charge. This is the area right here that there's going to be some action in, and we have the battery pack, jumper pack hooked up. It's reading 12.89 volts, and we have to step away a little bit and for safety, and then we're going to take and blow this thing, and I'll give you a count. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. That was a pretty big sound. Oh, so that's what it sounds like when a seatbelt retractor goes off, and a little bit of smoke coming out of it. So it smells like gunpowder in here. But one thing that this did retract just a little bit. I'd imagine that it's supposed to take and retract some more, but I don't know if it was a good rebuild. So I noticed that. Let me show you something here. There is a tubular piece that is threaded in here, right here, and there must be a piston or something in here. I don't know if this is square in here. It looks like it's cross-threaded, so this may not have been a good rebuild. Okay, so anyway, that's what it sounds like when one of these doggone squibs goes off, and that was pretty doggone loud. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little science corner here, and I hope this never happens to you. If you get a vehicle come into your workshop, your work area, you know what to look for. And I hope I've given you some tips. So on this Sunday, I hope you have a wonderful day. And stay warm and dry. It's raining here in Los Angeles right now. So more rain predicted tonight. Rained all night. So that's the reason we're doing a lot of stuff inside. So anyway, have a great day. See you next time.